Rusty. Clutch Trucker is filmed before a live studio audience. Right, Rusty? Now, Rusty here is a Lhasa Apso. A lot of people think it's a Shih Tzu. They're a little bit bigger. They got a little longer snout there. And anytime I try to film him, he gets all skittish like this. But anyway, that's Rusty. And so he's part of the whole Clutch Trucker clan. Right, silly dog? Hello? Want to get a lick? Yeah. He's not cooperating. Hey YouTube, thanks so much for tuning in to the Clutch Trucker channel again. Well, I got a level 3 inspection today. Of course.
Say a command.
There goes the damn GPS. Of course, passed with flying colors today. No problem. Happened early this morning, just east of, or just west, I'm sorry, of the Petro and Loves and Pilot. All share that same exit there at 310 in Laramie, Wyoming. Alright, so just before that exit, coming kind of down the hill, see the state trooper there in the median. I'm cruising along at 75 because that's the speed limit. I'm rolling right at 75. See him there, and then I'm coming around the corner up towards the exit to see him flip behind me, and he comes up behind me. I'm like, oh really, what does he think is going on? I'm not speeding. I've got my dash cam to prove it, so I knew that wasn't the issue. And right as we pass the off-ramp for the exit 310, which would get you to the Petro or the Pilot or the new Loves there, he pulls up beside me, then drifts back and flips the lights on. So I'm like, really, come on, what do you think I'm doing wrong? Or do you see something flapping in the wind that I didn't notice? I always do a thorough pre-trip, so was hoping it was nothing like that. Pulled right on over. Of course, he pulls up behind me and does that little sideways park like they all do now. Came up to the side door, the passenger door. I rolled down the window, and of course, Rusty starts barking his head off. And he said, is he going to bite me? I said, well, he could. You want me to get out of the truck so we can talk? He said, I'm just going to do a level 3 on you, so it's just a random, grab all your stuff and come back in the car and we'll do it there. All right, fine. Safe enough. Said, can we at least pull up ahead to the next off-ramp and do this off of the highway? And he said, no, we'll do it here. This is one problem I've always had with this, drivers, and you may too. I had one about 2 years ago in Council Bluffs, Iowa, and they did it on the shoulder. It's like, there's another off-ramp right up there. Can we at least get off of the highway? No, they want to do it right there. I don't think that's safe, personally, but what can you do? You can't argue with Joe Cop, right? So anyway, he was a nice guy, though. Bring everything back to his car, and of course, you're trying to mash yourself into the passenger seat where there's hardly any room because they've got their computer and everything else taking up half of the car. But yeah, level 3 drivers, if you don't know what that is it's just the wellness of the driver and your logs, essentially. They're going to ask you for your driver's license. They may want to look at your health card. He didn't ask me for that one. They definitely want to see your logs and your log book. I'm on paper logs, as I've shown many times before. And let me grab it over here. I'll pull it out again. There's my paper log book. I have custom log sheets made that have all the basic information you have to put in every day, like my name, my company's name, my truck number, my trailer number, all of that, so it's always ready to go. And they are the carbonless, which I like, duplicate sheets. I send the main sheet back to Turquoise Trucking every week. I keep the duplicate. All right, so I only had a few days of the full double sheets, but I had, of course, up to 14 days, which is what you have to keep, drivers, in your logbook for them to inspect. So I had that ready to go. I had the bill of lading ready to go. I had my permit book, and he looked all through that. That's, I think, mainly what he was after in this one. He really wanted to look at the truck registration, trailer registration, IFTA, any permits I may have, and I had them all. I had just gone through my book actually a few days ago to make sure everything's up to date, and it is. Even my 2290 And if you don't know what that is, drivers, if you're an independent driver, an owner-operator, a contractor, that's an extra tax you got to pay every year. I have Turquoise do it for me, so they just send me the list, and I'm in the list, and they can see that. All right, so they wanted to look at everything in the permit book, and this happened in Wyoming, which I think is kind of ironic because I live in Wyoming. I live in Cheyenne, and it's the first time I've ever been pulled over for any kind of inspection in Wyoming. Thought that was kind of interesting. So I told the guy that, and I said, hey, I live, just up the road here, and I think it's kind of funny. I've never had an inspection in Wyoming. He said, oh, really? Yeah, where do you live? And so, it turns out, of course, he grew up in Cheyenne, and I think I might have gotten a little nicer treatment because of that, because it was a pretty quick inspection. The last level 3 I had like that, I was on the side of the road for an hour. This was 15 minutes tops. But we talked a little bit. I told him how I used to own a radio station up in Douglas, Wyoming, and he had heard of that and all that. So nice enough guy. Anyway, checked everything out. I said, hey, you want the last 7 or last 14 days of the log? He said, just the 7. So I flipped through, pulled those all out. He checked everything out, and I got my sheet, which is, they can print that out in their truck and their cars. This is my inspection sheet, my approval. Yes, I'm approved. Bang, stamp of approval. So yeah, it says on there, no violations discovered, just random traffic enforcement. Has all my information, my company's information, make of the truck, make of the trailer, licenses, blah, blah, blah. And there you go. Now, what's nice to me is this is worth money. With Turquoise Trucking, you get reimbursed for having inspections that pass and are good. I had one just north of Salt Lake in January of last year, of this past year. I had a full level 1. I was there an hour and a half. Boy, he was searching. He was searching. He was trying to find something. Couldn't find anything wrong. Turquoise gives me $500 for that. This one, I think it's only worth $150 for a level 3. I'm not positive, but it's free money just for doing my job and keeping my crap up to date. So, he was pretty quick about it, and I talked for a few more minutes with him about, how all the trucks and trailers flip off of the road. He runs that section from Laramie to Elk Mountain, Wyoming, and if you never run that section of I-80 in Wyoming in the winter, you just try it one time. You'll count all the trucks and trailers and cars flipped into the ditch and flipped into the median. It's ridiculous in the winter. He said, oh yeah, I see all of that. But anyway, good old boy, had a good time with him. And he gave me my thing, and I said, well, luckily I had extra time planned this morning before my delivery, so I had time for this, and I want to shake your hand because you just gave me money. And he said, what? I said, yeah, I get paid for good inspections. He said, really? I said, yeah. So you gave me some money. Appreciate it, buddy. So left him on good terms, rolled on down the road, and still made my delivery on time and all that. Got hung up there all afternoon, but that's another story. Anyway, got a level 3, went well. And that, like I say, is driver health, driver readiness. Basically, are you following your daily logs and doing what you should? And I was. So, worked out well, and I'm going to get paid for that. So, I like it. Anyway, so thought I'd do a quick video on that. Parked here at the Petro in Johnstown, Colorado. Got hung up at Amazon all afternoon long. They've got a new distribution center down there, and they're kind of doing the Uber thing. They're hiring just regular people with cars to deliver like the last mile delivery of their loads. Anyway, it was kind of a weird thing, but luckily they're doing a whole bunch of maintenance on I-25 northbound north of Denver. So a lot of people right now aren't trying the Petro in Johnstown. I hoped I could get a spot here tonight because I'd been up all day. I was tired. And I found one. So lucked out with that. All right, so till next time, thanks for tuning in. As always, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, ring the bell, like, comment, please, if you'd like. Sniff the magic YouTube fairy dust. Clutch out.